afternoon, everybody. I guess morning, depending on where you are in the country. But thank you very much for joining us for today's Aartech Pro Partner webinar. It's been a little while since we've done a live webinar. Pretty excited to get back into it here. We've been doing a lot of our podcasts. We've done some open forums. Thank you to all that have participated in the forums. Always great to get live feedback from everybody. We got a pretty good crowd today, so please be engaged. Ask questions as you feel. Don't be afraid to ask, even if it's not 100% to the content today. All right. Today's session focuses on the Resideo smart home ecosystem. Now, Rebecca and I have just recently done a podcast on this as well, so a few insights have come out of that as well. And presented today and joining us is Rebecca from the Resideo team. So welcome again, Rebecca.
Hey, thank you.
Before we get going, please don't hesitate to drop your questions in the chat, as I mentioned. We're looking for as much engagement as possible. The only thing that I ask we restrain from is if you're trying to get us to solve an install problem. Please reach out to us offline about those kind of things. We can certainly support you, but this isn't the place for it. If you're seeing ongoing issues that are consistent, hey, by all means, bring that up. But I think we're going to be doing a pretty good overview of the ecosystem and some of the insights that we touched on this morning. So with that in mind, Rebecca, if you don't mind, take a quick minute and reintroduce yourself, if you don't mind.
Yeah, not at all. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I know everybody's busy these days, so getting a good crew out is always a plus. I'm Rebecca Henderson. I work for a sales agency that represents a lot of different HVAC products. I'm a gas technician. I decided to get into the sales end of things, and so we look after a lot of different lines, and Resideo is probably our anchor line, our biggest line. And they have a plethora of different products that you may not know about, and some really good stuff to come together into one platform or one app. And we're just going to go over some of that stuff today, and hopefully you guys will reach out and ask if you have any questions. Let us know, and we'll get you up to date on what's new in that world.
Perfect. And like I said, we highlighted a few insights that I think were nicely discovered in our podcast. So I might throw a couple of those at you a little bit later. But without further ado, let's dive straight in, Rebecca, and please fire away.
All right, let's go for it. Okay, so just get into there we go. Nice little picture here showing the ecosystem, the different products that we have that will work off of one app. And that app is the First Alert app. In the past, Resideo or Honeywell, a lot of you may know the Honeywell name more than the Resideo name. Resideo is a spun-off name from the big company Honeywell. So it's now Resideo Honeywell Home. They have a lot of products that you maybe don't know that they have that all work off of this First Alert app. So I'm hoping that we can kind of, get everybody up to speed on what's out there and what's available, and just some really good upgrade opportunities and just some opportunities to make life a little simpler by combining things into one app. So we're going to go through a few different things. So the first thing I'm going to go over very quickly is the new Focus Pro. It's the basic thermostat, nothing special about it. It has lots of functionality, but it's not, all the color, bells and whistles and things you can get with some of the fancier thermostats. Now, this is a low-priced option that will do Wi-Fi if wanted, or connected if wanted. I'm going to just show you here. This was a contractor request. Over time, contractors were telling Resideo what they wanted to see, and they really wanted to see a entry-level platform feature-rich thermostat. So they wanted to see a home thermostat that could do lots of things, but wasn't through the roof expensive. But they wanted a large screen because a lot of elderly people, find the smaller screens are hard to read. So they wanted to be able to see it. And Resideo wanted to make sure that they were following their UWP. UWP stands for Universal Wall Plate. They wanted to follow their design. In the past, they've had this universal wall plate for years and years and years, and all their thermostats, different generations, all snap into the same universal wall plate. So if you're pulling out an old thermostat and you're putting in a new Resideo thermostat, sometimes it's just as easy as pulling one off the wall and snapping the new one on without changing any wiring. So they wanted to keep that protocol. And so they came out with this Focus Pro, and it has a lot of great functions like lockout screens and different things you can do in 3 different families. And so you can see they put the families under non-programmable. So that's non-Wi-Fi, non-programmable. And then you have programmable non-Wi-Fi. And then you have your smart. So in each they have 2 different versions or 2 different models, depending on how many stages of heating and cooling your home system has. So they both will do heat pumps, because that was important. Heat pumps, anybody who knows or has done any reading on environmental stuff knows that heat pumps are kind of taking over the market because of this renewable energy thing and trying to get rid of, people burning natural gas. So they had to come out with a low-end thermostat that would do heat pumps. In the past, it's always been really high-end stuff. So I'm not going to go through all these different, 5-year warranty and that. You guys can see up there the different things. Basic thing that I wanted to get out of this is that there is a low-end thermostat. You don't have to get the thermostat with all the bells and whistles to get on this First Alert app that does so many different things. There is a basic thermostat as well that's available on that app. So secondly, I want to talk about the BRK, the SC5, which is, again, part of the First Alert family. And all these names, they're all sub-names to Resideo. So Resideo, Honeywell Home, BRK, First Alert, they're all, different product portfolios. And BRK, for those of you who may not know, is mostly smoke and carbon monoxide detection. And they have recently come out with this SC5, which is a smart smoke and carbon monoxide alarm, which is an amazing thing. It comes 2 ways. I'm just going to flip to back and forth between 2 screens here. So you can see there's a battery operated and a hardwired. And the hardwired one, obviously, there's some benefits to having your hardwire. You can communication between alarms. So when one sounds, all the compatible alarms will sound. And then, of course, with your battery, with your battery, it's things too that that's good as well. It just depends on your situation and what works best for you. The wonderful thing about this smoke alarm is that it will, one, connect to the First Alert app along with the thermostats, and a bunch of other products we'll go over. But this will also allow you to turn off, like let's say your smoke detector is going off. Typically, we go and we stand under it with a newspaper or a tea towel and wave it around if it's not a smoke situation. Somebody's burning something in the kitchen, which I recently did. And I have one of these installed, and all of a sudden it kind of freaked me out. This voice said, we have a smoke situation. You have 30 seconds to turn it off before the main alarm will sound. And I just grabbed my phone and shut it off, and I could still attend to the bacon that was burning. I didn't have to walk away from the stove, worry about turning the burner down and pulling that frying pan off the stove and then running over and turning the alarm off. It was so easy just to shut this off from my phone. But then also it's great for peace of mind. Like if you're at work all day and there's a smoke or a CO situation, whether the house is occupied or not, you want to keep your home safe. Getting an alert is nice to know, so you can get somebody over there or get somebody at the house to inspect what's happening. Pets is a big thing. If you got pets in the house and you're vacationing at your cottage and you're off to the steakhouse for a nice dinner, and you've got your purebred dogs sitting back at the cottage, wouldn't it be peace of mind to be sitting in that steakhouse and know that if there was any smoke or CO that you're going to get an alert on your phone so you can leave right away or go and get that tended to? It's a big deal, and it's been a hit. It's piqued a lot of attention, and Nest Protect had a system that they're not doing anymore, the Nest Protect alarm. And so Nest Protect has been sending kind of everybody over to Resideo now for this. So it's a great system. It's compatible with the app, like all these other things. Just a really great opportunity to have. And here's a few selling points for different areas, because I know we have a variety of different viewers on this webinar today. Like there's different usually I'm presenting to all HVAC contractors, but today we got a bunch of different types of jobs and people here. So for builders, we know we're building homes with connected fire and CO safety, and you can easily integrate other Honeywell Home and First Alert products through the First Alert app, which we discussed. And then for pros, there's a wide range of compatibility. You can it includes fast and easy installation. It provides a connected upsell option for smoke and CO. So if a contractor's in there, doing actually was in between the podcast this morning and this webinar, I was just over to see a contractor in my town here. And this is something that they're doing with their home builders, where they're offering this as an upgrade. As you can get a low end thermostat and you can upgrade to a higher end thermostat, but you can also upgrade and put an SC5 in your house, and they give them a little bit of a pitch as to why it's a great thing. And then consumers, obviously we discussed alerts while you're at home or you're away through the First Alert app. So really cool. The only problem is that the Ontario laws changed recently where you have to have a strobe. So for new builds, you do need an external strobe along with this SC5. So I put it in my house without a strobe, just as a retrofit. I see a hand up.
I've got it. I do have a question here. I don't know if it's the person that's got their hand up. I was waiting for a natural break here, but the question was, do you have the 3-in-1 smoke alarm? Now I'm pretty sure Albert is speaking of heat detection versus the strobe. Albert, maybe you could clarify that for me. But is there heat detection in any of these as well?
No, but we do have a heat detector that's just being released right now. It's not part of my presentation because I'll be honest, I haven't been trained on it yet. But it is just like currently as we are speaking, they're in the process of releasing it. Right, but so it's not included in this one. No.
Gotcha. Okay. Fair enough. And then let me see if this one is on. Do these products integrate with Home Assistant, Smart Things, Google, Alexa, Lutron? Oh, my Alexa is going to go off now. Other third-party integrations like Control4, Savant. You might touch on this later, but I'll ask it now.
Yeah, there is a list of them that I've got to pull up to see. Some of those were definitely included, but I know some of them are not. So you have to check on the spec sheet before to make sure that it is one of the ones that is connectable with. I'm just checking to see if I have a spec sheet right handy here, but we'll definitely.
Is that on your website, Rebecca?
I'll find it for you. What's that? Sorry.
Is that information on the website, on your website as well?
Yeah, it's absolutely. It's on the spec sheet, and okay. I just don't think I had a spec sheet in front of me, but I can pull one up before the end.
Perfect.
We will definitely take a look.
Excellent. And we're building more and more Resideo resources. Those of you that have been with us for a while know about our starting point libraries and welcome pages and things. Resideo's information will be uploaded there pretty quick, so bear with us a bit there.
So moving along, and we'll get back to some of this. Like we'll kind of tie all of these components together in the end. So there's a reason why I'm going through kind of everything individually, and then at the end we're going to kind of look at the platform that they can all work off of. So this next product line, a lot of people don't know that Resideo offers, and it's a very, very important one and very popular right now, is leak detection and leak control. So leak detection being a component that will tell you there's a leak, and then leak control being a valve on your main water line that can shut off the water. So if you do have a water heater leak or a pipe burst, it's only going to leak as much comes out until that valve is shut off. Whereas in the past, it was like, you could be away for 7 or 8 hours, come home to a leak that happened as soon as you left in the morning, and it's just been running water in your basement all day. So this is a way to prevent that and to save money on your home insurance, essentially. So this here you can see is the valve. It's just a regular brass valve that comes in half, 3/4, 1 inch, or 1.25 inches. And it allows you to connect that to your main water line. And the actuator on the top, which is the gray and white box with the little lever on the side, that is the actuator that will actually, by through Wi-Fi, you can turn it on or off. So if you turn it off, you know, your main water is turned off, you can turn it back on from your phone or manually from that lever. But if there's a water leak detected through the cord, you can see the cord there, and the water leak detector, we actually have an updated one there, the little square and beside the red writing. Those two are the detectors. And so they will, if water is on the floor, they will actually sense it, send a signal to the actuator that's on the valve, the box, and tell the box to shut the valve off. So you shut the valve off, and you basically now have just lost water through a leak that was existing in the pipe. There's no new water coming in. So it's not a constant running water anymore. There, as I said, there's a manual override. So you can, if you're not really having a leak situation that's bad, like let's say you just had your pressure relief valve on your water heater, blew off a bit of water, and the leak detector thought that it was a main leak, and so it shut off the main water, you can just walk over and turn it back on. You could do either through the phone or turn it back on. Really big with, again, like homeowners, cottage owners. We sell so many double packs to these guys where they want one in their house and one in their cottage, because they're always at one or the other, and they're never at the other one. So when they're at the one, they're always worried about the other location. So when they're at the cottage, they're worried about home. When they're at home, they're worried about the cottage. So this is just a way to give them peace of mind. And of course, it's on the First Alert apps. You can pull that app up anytime and see there's no leak situation. Everything's looking good. Just peace of mind, as well as protection, as well as money savings from a insurance company point of view. So insurance companies, they only want to give you one leak opportunity, and they'll pay an insurance claim for a leak that you have in your basement, let's say. But once you've had that one claim, they're not protecting you again. So this is sold a lot to people who've had one leak, and they're worried. They know they don't have another opportunity for a claim, so they make sure that they're covered. So let me just, I don't know why oh, there we go. So this is just showing you the L1. The L1 is the leak detector, and the L5 was the leak shutoff. So this is we call it a puck. This is the puck that we put on the ground with the cord to sense the water. And the cord is like a wicking cord, so it actually draws moisture to it. So even if there's water that's not right on the cord, but it's very close by, this cord will pull the moisture into it and will sense and send a alert.
And
So
Rebecca,
really,
how much water are we talking about? My dog loves to get a big drink of water, and then her beard is just dripping for minutes after. If she walks over one of these and drips 4 drops of water on, is that going to trigger something? Is it going to?
No,
what kind of a limit are we talking?
I mean, I don't have an exact amount of water, but I know, like with the small amount, it might say, oh, you know, it might send you alert saying we've sensed water, and then a minute later, like, oh no, it's, you know, we don't sense water now. Like it's good. I don't think, you know, we do say keep it away from pet dishes and stuff like that, just in case, because if the pet, it's also if the pet, you know how they'll sometimes like paw at their water dish and knock it over.
Yes.
Like, you don't want that, that's a bit of a pain, right? Because now you're looking into something that maybe you want that. I mean, maybe you got hardwood floors
I
there
guess
and
it depends.
you
Yeah.
know, you want to know if the dog's leaking the water bowl so you can go clean it up. It's everybody's situation is a little different.
The best part of
Um,
automation, customizable.
exactly. And these can be daisy chained together. So, for instance, we had a condo building. We did about 600 of them in this condo building. They put 3 or 4 in each unit and they daisy chained them together, put them under, the washing machine, the kitchen sink, stuff like that. And then they connected them all together. And we did receive an email back from their maintenance department thanking us because they have it solved 7 leak issues before there was any insurance claim needing to be done. Whereas in the past, they would have had to claim maintenance on insurance. So we have a couple big buildings that are very, very happy with this and with this system. So single home or multi-home, it's great in a lot of different areas. The L2, that's why this is Wi-Fi also, and it's just like the floor sensor, like the leak detector. This is used for HVAC equipment. So basically it prevents coil freeze up. So sometimes, they'll have a coil in an attic, it's not an easy location to get to. And the coil might freeze up, or you have too much condensate coming out of leaking into the system. This will set that off. Again, we've used it in fan coil applications in condo buildings and apartment buildings. They'll put it in with the HVAC equipment. And so this case, it's actually wired into the HVAC equipment, whereas this one is battery operated. It's got a battery in it. This one is, you can see the wires that you would wire that into the equipment on the right side, and on the left side, that's your water sense cord. Now, available January 2024. I probably could have taken that off of the presentation. I didn't notice that on there. It's available. So we know now it's been doing well for a couple of years. There you can see too, Jeff, see where it says monitors humidity and temperature trend reporting on the Resideo app. So this thing does give you like some trend information on the app. You can play around with different things on the app that it'll tell you. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, for sure. And before we jump on here, Rebecca, a couple follow-up questions I didn't get to earlier.
Yeah.
I have a question myself about the heat pump thermostat. So
Sure.
they are absolutely exploding, right, on the scene. They're one of the biggest installs probably out there for the residential side. So the unit itself comes with a built-in thermostat, typically, right, in a heat pump or air conditioner or whatever. So how do you override that? How do you jump into that system?
Well, they don't really come with a thermostat. They come with an internal thermistor that's measuring the temperature, but you still need an external thermostat to run your system, to control your system. And so the problem in the past was, in Canada, we don't use just heat pumps. We use heat pumps and we'll have a furnace as a backup or electric backup. Like, we always have some kind of backup, right? Because it's very cold here. And heat pumps work most efficiently in cold weather that's not ridiculously cold like we get in some areas of Canada. So the problem that they were having with controls was getting a control that would do 2 systems, because you have to be able to flip back and forth between heat pump and your furnace or your electric backup. So they call it dual fuel, because if you have a gas furnace and then you have a heat pump, which isn't really gas, but the refrigerant in it, they call it, it's a separate gas. So they call it dual fuel. So that was where the problem lay. So basically all the contractor has to do with the heat pump or with a furnace is just connect everything to the thermostat, either by wire, or there are wireless options as well, which we'll kind of touch on a little bit later here as well. but there are some wireless options as well that they can communicate between the equipment and the thermostat. And the thermostat will automatically pick up or send a signal to a module that's at the furnace, and the module will be connected to the furnace or heat pump. So it's kind of complex if you're not like in the heating industry all the time. It's funny because like you guys are all really good at like smart home integration stuff, and that is not my area of expertise. My area of expertise is like heat pumps and stages of heat and cooling and combustion and all that stuff. So I'm always like, when you guys get too technical, I'm like, deer in headlights kind of. And sometimes when I'm talking to people who are more into that home automation stuff, and that I hear, you know, that same kind of like, oh my goodness, what is she talking about on the HVAC side? So yeah, it is basically, they've come out now with a thermostat that will do just a furnace, just a heat pump, or both. And then it will work with the thermistor that's built inside the equipment. So basically they're talking to each other.
So I'll challenge anybody out there that may have this opportunity come across, just reach out to our team here at Aartech. We can connect with Rebecca and work through the first couple scenarios for you. No worries there.
We're always happy to help with that. I said on the podcast earlier today too, like, I think nobody can know everything about this industry, or you would have to pass up childhood memories. Like, you could never keep track of everything and all the technology. The trick is being able to find an answer when you need it. If you're good at that, you're golden. And that's what we're good at. Aartech's good at that. I'm good at that. So, you know, if you guys have questions or you want to find an answer to something, if we don't know the answer offhand, we will find you an answer. We'll figure it out. And that's the whole trick, is being able to, you know, find where to go.
Perfect. I got two more quick ones here, and then I'll let you get back. This is more of a statement, so thank you, Gary. Not a question, but I've installed the SC5, and the hardwired version can link to specific BRK and first alert smokes and CO2 detectors, and they will all sound when any one of them is triggered. I'm not sure, but you may be able to include a hardwired detector in that system that has a strobe. That sounds correct. Yes?
Yes, I think you're right, Gary. And you know more about this than I do, if I'm being honest, like this connection stuff. We have a guy, like, I'm the HVAC specialist. We have a guy that's a smoke and CO specialist, John Ward. Some of you will know him. I am constantly on the phone with John Ward asking him, oh my goodness, what about this? Or Nathan Ritchie, the security guy. Oh my goodness, Nathan, what about this security system? So between John Ward, Nathan Ritchie, and myself, we work together great as a team, and we can compile all these different systems together and get people the answers they need. We're all sort of specialists in a specific field.
Yeah, just like we are here. Like you said, we can't know everything. And the last one is one of the insights that we pulled from this morning, just to put a bow on the water detection. I do get objections sometimes and pushback from installers that say, I don't want to do automation. And you and I've got a blog that I've already started since our podcast this morning that we're going to put out. But leak detection is not automation anymore. It is tied into a system, don't get me wrong. But with the insurance points that you brought up, with the flood detection, all the flood issues in general, Canada has been, you know, drastically changing over the last 5-6 years in terms of floods. So it really is preventative. It can be tied into an automation system, absolutely. But I wouldn't necessarily go out there and advertise it as automation, because it's prevention, just like fire, just like, you know, break-ins, all that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there, because I think it's a very interesting perspective.
That's a really good point, Jeff, because, you know, like we said in the podcast this morning, right? There's some people that just like cringe as soon as they hear the word automation, and they don't realize, you know, that there's a lot of things offered here that are not your typical, like, what propeller head automation, right? Like, it's not like something that takes a genius to figure out. There is automation that takes a genius to figure out, but this is not. And so sometimes I think when people start to realize, like, wait a minute, this isn't really automation. Like, this is something I need in my house. Like, this is like protection that I want. It's a great way to introduce them to simple automation.
Right. Well said. Thank you. Sorry, please for your seat.
No problem. So now we'll move on to the more fun stuff. Cameras are always so much fun. 3 options of cameras. So we have a doorbell camera, basically the same thing as your Amazon Ring doorbell, which everyone knows about. And then we have an indoor and an outdoor security, you know, whatever you want to use it for kind of camera. They're, you know, used in many different ways depending on who's doing what. But so the doorbell camera. Doorbell camera is really awesome. Like it's I was surprised at the quality when I got a display sample here that came on a board, and I had to load it all up, and I was petrified to do it because I'm not an app junkie. But I was saying earlier, it's easy to do. I was so impressed. It's so intuitive. Like it really recognizes whether it's you know, an animal or you know, a truck driving by or a person. Like it really is good. The night vision is very clear. It supports some other smart home connectivity integration, like the Pro Series, which is the Honeywell or Resideo security system, the 7-inch all-in-one panel. It goes on this First Alert app. Not a must. Like our First Alert app will also take the Ring camera, the Amazon Ring camera, because they knew there was a bunch of those already out there. So they wanted to make the app not just narcissistically about their own product. They wanted to reach out and get all kinds of different products, you know, available on that app so that people would want to use it and want to open one app to do 10 different things. That was sort of their main focus. Now, I can't play the videos. I had some videos. I'm just going to talk it through and tell you what was on the video, basically. But I just want to show you here. It talks about different, on the top, high resolution 5 megapixel camera. And it says multiple fields of view available, tall, wide, and full. So on March 2nd this year, one of the Resideo guys, he has his set on wide. He sent this video. You can see, I don't know if you can see my cursor, but you can see the dog right about middle right side of the page, kind of.
Yeah, we can see it.
You can see it. Okay, so he sent it over and he said, look at, like, check this out, guys. Like, this is so good. Like, it sent me a alert saying that this is my dog. Like, it knew it was an animal. Like, it knew it wasn't a person. And so he sent this to everybody at Resideo. And then we had the next guy, he came by and he's like, well, and his is not set to wide because you can see he's got the narrow view. So this was on 2 days later on March 4th. He had a bear on his front porch. And there's the bear. You can see it. And the video just shows the bear like sniffing around, and then he wanders off. So he sends this video, and then one of the top guys for Resideos from Florida, he's like, well, we have different animals where I am here in Florida. And he sends us this video. This was from last October, but he had saved it. And you can see in the bottom left corner, the gecko, a little salamander dude kind of thing. It was like crawling all over his doorbell. And now if I played the video, you'd see this. It's hilarious. This little salamander guy's like crawling all over the place and opening his mouth and staring into the camera. It's pretty funny. But you can see the quality of the picture, and you can see the different settings, like wide. And these guys both had them set on the narrow. And then the daytime, nighttime. That's nighttime. That's daytime. You can really see it. The camera, great quality camera. Everyone we know that's installed them so far has been very, very happy with them. So, and then further, outdoor cameras. You want to watch like who's coming in and out of your property, or who's, you know, is the Amazon guy really the Amazon guy? Is somebody cleaning out your garage while you're at work? All these things people want to do. They want to watch outside. So they came out with this camera, and again, it detects people, packages, vehicles, animals. So you can set up what you want notifications on. So you can reduce unnecessary notifications and interruptions all day long when it's just, you know, a leaf passing by your camera, or a bumblebee or whatever. High resolution, not as many megapixels as the doorbell cam, but still very good. And it has two-way interactive audio, so you can greet your visitors, or if you wanted to scare your intruders, you could also scare your intruders by talking to them. So also built-in spotlight and siren to deter people, and very temperature resilient, like works outside in very, very cold temperatures. So working up north and then working down south in Louisiana. So they took North America into consideration with this, because we have quite a range of climate from top to bottom. And then again,
Rebecca, sorry,
yeah,
the built-in LED spotlight and siren, just to clarify, are those on all the time once it hits a certain minimum light, or is that on motion triggers?
I believe it's on motion triggers only. Again, I'd have to look for sure, but I believe it's just motion triggers.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
And yeah, connective again to the security systems that Resideo has to offer. And then pretty much the same. There is a back box you can see here too. So if you want to hide cables and connectors, you can see that little back box that you can purchase separately as well. And then the indoor camera. Lots of reasons for indoor cameras that I've heard of. Like the ones I hear mostly is watching pets, watching babysitters or children, and watching contractors in your home space. Like you got a contractor doing a reno in your kitchen and you want to make sure they're getting what you pay for. We discussed earlier today about a dog walking, that you Jeff found out that you weren't getting your money's worth from a dog walker. Just ways to know that you're not being ripped off in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, different reasons for everybody, right? Like everybody has their reasons. My husband's retired. I want to put one in my house just so I can make sure he's not bringing like car parts and crap into my house.
Fair.
So,
and I do have a question here about Quebec temperature, minus 30 degrees Celsius. Do you know what the actual, from my experience and understanding, I've got customers that are in Quebec and sort of that temperature range anyways, and I've never had any issues, but do you know what the actual spec rate? Oh, there it is right there, minus 40.
minus 40 Celsius, which is pretty cold, to 50 degrees Celsius. And what I had somebody asking another one that I was in with Resideo about, so let's say it's minus 45 and it's up in Timmins, is it going to ruin the camera? No, you just may not get the same picture. Like your picture quality is going to be less, but it's not going to ruin your camera. So if you have one day that's minus 45, you don't have to worry about your camera ruining. And then here it is, the granddaddy poobah of all thermostats. This is the Elite Pro Smart Thermostat. Super exciting. I always joke and say that I don't get too excited about product, but this one really excited me when it came out, because they finally listened to everybody. So they didn't just take into consideration what's easy to manufacture, what's the best, like the least cost effective or the most cost effective way to, make money. They actually came down a little bit in price. Like the Focus Pro that I showed you earlier, when they launched that, there was a lot of contractors that were very surprised because it was actually cheaper than the series before, but had more functionality. And they were like, how did you guys do this? And they were like, we did it because we knew we had to do it, because everybody's watching their pennies these days. And so they've actually found ways to get more for less. And this thermostat, we put some samples in like prototypes into some contractors' hands that are diehard Honeywell installers. So before they were released, we put some in the contractors' hands, and we were just getting callbacks from all these guys saying, like, sign me up. I want a couple cases. As soon as they come out, I want them. And a big deal is the black. So it's always been in the past. Honeywell was white, Ecobee was black. And I would go to shows, and the Ecobee guy would come up to me and he'd say, Rebecca, oh, if I had a nickel for everyone who asked me for a white thermostat, I'd be rich. And I'd say, oh my goodness, same for me. If we had black, same thing. And then they finally came out with this Elite Pro that comes in both black and white. I'm just going to go past. This was a video that I can't show you because it's, there you go. So there's the black, and then you can see the white. And it's showing a few different screens there because there's a whole bunch of different options for idle screens. Because again, they were thinking, not everybody likes seeing the same thing, right? Like some people want to see, the temperature. Some people want to see the time big and the temperature small. Some people, everybody's got their thing, right? So that was one of the things too. And you'll see that there we go. So there's a bunch of different customizable idle screens. Some people want the clock, the old style clock, right? Some people want the digital, used to be beside your bed looking clock, the flip clock. They got every option here. And you can design what you want your thermostat to look like, which is nice. And then there's the white. The white's even better because the white, you have color options.
And we talked about that earlier too, Rebecca, right? So, again, I've had customers before say, I don't care about design in the background. I just want it to flip and work. But depending on where you are and who you're talking to, when you get into these big custom built homes, as we said, a lot of this stuff is spec'd to the installer. So it's the interior designer, it's the architect, it's somebody like that who's deciding
100%.
what goes where. And trust me, this stuff, just like automation switches, anybody that's done automation for a few years knows interior designer doesn't like plain white switches. They want something fancy. There's different ways to do that. So this is a great alternative for that. So it's a selling feature. I absolutely feel that way.
Yeah, I do too. And it's home builders are loving it because they've had customers in the past that are sitting in their showroom and they're picking all the products for their custom, their fancy dream home, and they're like, no, I don't like the color of that. And the guy's like, oh my God, I only have so many options, right? But they love this because they're like, look, like I can show the guy 6 different idle screens in 6 different colors. Like this is the best. So it's almost like there's something there for everybody, right? Very, this, I'm not going to get into this like deeply. I'm just going to tell you there's 4 different models. So we have an S900, an S1000, an S1100, and an S1200 right there. Now, the S900 is the lowest end one, obviously the most economically priced one. It does the least amount, but it's the most economically priced. So when you get into the S1000 and the S1100, these thermostats will do 2 indoor air quality functions without a separate control. Now, let me make you understand that. Most new homes today all new homes today have to have an HRV, a heat recovery ventilator, and a humidifier. Most homes want a humidifier in this part of the world because in the wintertime, our homes get very dry. And since COVID, indoor air quality has really become important to people. So in the past, you would have to put a thermostat on the wall for your heating system. You would put an HRV control. They usually had like a 20, 40, and 60 timers on them. And you would put that on the wall beside your thermostat. And then beside that, you would have a humidistat where you controlled your humidity. Well, guys were always asking for, we had a thermostat that you could put 1 indoor air quality function on. So you could either do humidity or you could do your ventilation. They wanted one that you could do 2. So in the past, you had to use an external module to be able to do that. You don't anymore. Now you can just connect your humidifier, connect your ventilation system to this thermostat and not have those extra, 1, the extra cost of those controllers, and 2, the cosmetic look of it on the wall. It doesn't look great when you have 3 boxes from 3 different companies side by side and they all look different. You got one, oh, your thermostat's black, but your humidistat's brown and your HRV controller's white. So that's why a lot of guys were really interested in that. Now with the S900, you can only do one. You can do humidification, dehumidification, or ventilation. But with everything else, the S1000, the S1100, and then the S1200, you can do two of them. Now, the S1100, you'd be like, well, why? What's the difference then between the S1000 and 1100 and 1200? And the 1200 is on this page because it comes three ways. It comes just as a thermostat with two indoor sensors for doing like averaging. If you want to do averaging temperature, like if you want to kind of address cool spots in the home, you can do that with an external sensor. And then the third package on the right is a thermostat with an equipment interface module, which would allow you to do 3 indoor air quality functions. So that would include like a humidifier, a dehumidifier, and a ventilation system. You could put all 3. But on all the other models, you can only do 2. So the 1200 is also the only one you can do video on. When you're back here, with the S1000 and the 1100, you're only doing, you're not doing video. You've got lots of other options, but not video. And then I'll show you, there is how I find this is the best way, because you can look at this spec sheet here all day long and try and go, well, this one has that. Does this one say yes for this? Well, they all say yes. Where's the difference? This is what I find is the best way to figure out the difference. So your S900 is the one here on the left. It does 3 heat, 2 cool. That's stages of heating. And then it will also do 1 indoor air quality function. Now, when you move up to the S1000, you now add, see in this box, this dotted box, it says Red Link, which is wireless, meaning, let's say you can't get wires from your equipment to your thermostat. You would want to start with the S1000 or any of the ones above it. So wireless, occupancy sensing. So occupancy sensing is basically like, oh, I know somebody's in the house, so I'm going to prioritize that over, maybe they have geofencing set up on their system, on their phone, so that the thermostat knows when they're 5 miles from the house, and it prioritizes the heating based on where the person is. With occupancy sensing, you can override the geofencing. And, you know, let's say you've got your cell phone out and you're out for dinner and you have a babysitter in the house. Well, a babysitter doesn't have the phone. You need the heating system not to turn off because you've left the house with your phone. So you can have it set to occupancy where the babysitter, it knows there's people moving around. And so because there's people moving around, it prioritizes that over the phone. And then you have your ambient light sensor, which is basically just, you can, as you get closer to the thermostat, a light will shine up, make it brighter. Okay, so everything on the right of the S1000 has those options. The S900 does not. So then you get the S1000, you got wireless, occupancy sensing, and the ambient light sensor, but you do not get what you see in the next box, which is the VOC and the CO2 sensor. Now that is a volatile compound and carbon dioxide sensor. When that first came out, I was like, I don't get it. What's the big deal? Well, what I found out is the big deal is, so the volatile compounds, let's say you bring in new furniture that was all covered in plastic and you pull all the plastic off and it's off gassing, or new carpet and it's off gassing, you get that smell. This thermostat will sense that you have VOCs in the room and will send a signal to your ventilator or your fan to come on more often. And this is great because now when we're sensing these things, we don't need to assume our fan needs to come on so often, or assume our ventilation system needs to come on so often. Why turn it on if nobody's in the house? Or if there's nothing there? Same with the CO2 sensor. Christmas time, you've got 45 people in your house for a big Christmas get together, and everybody's breathing all their carbon dioxide all over the place. The plants are loving it. The room air is not the best quality. This thing will sense it and will do an air exchange while people are there. Whereas it may not have been set up to do that without that sensing. So that's what the big deal is about the VOC and the CO2 sensing. I'm not kidding you. I even had a guy from Resideo saying that his wife loves it because he farts all night, and this thing actually picked it up and turns the fan on, like has an air exchange more often at night. That's how sensitive it is. And beauty salons, we've had a couple beauty salons that like it because when they get spraying hairspray and hair dyes and stuff, it's been good for them because they have that sensor. And then the S1200, the only thing different from the S1200 to all the others is video. It has video. So does that make sense? Like,
yeah, I wouldn't mind if it just takes 30 seconds to talk about the video a little bit more. So the video, because depending on who's listening, the term video may mean something different. So,
yeah, so
video.
We're gonna go into that right.
Perfect.
Oh, maybe
See how I set you up, Rebecca? All over.
So the video, I'm just gonna talk it first here because I can't remember what's further up on the lineup here. But so the video is basically your doorbell camera. So if you have a doorbell camera, you can hook it up to this thermostat so that when the doorbell rings, the video shows up at your door. Whatever's on your Ring camera or your Resideo camera will show up on the doorbell screen or on the thermostat screen. Now, what is so great about that is sometimes, on our Ring doorbell, we can look on our phone, open our phone, see who's at the door, right? Sometimes we're in the house or we have a babysitter in the house maybe, and she doesn't have the app, or your parents are watching your pets and they don't have the app, and you have them in the house and somebody rings the doorbell and you want them to be able to know who's at the door. They will be able to see it on the thermostat. It is the pizza guy. Oh, it's just the Amazon guy dropping a box off. Oh, it's some guy with a pair of pantyhose pulled over his head that's going to rob us. They can see who's there, and be able to not have to look at their phone because they may not be the homeowner, for instance. Or maybe the homeowner is, like I said earlier, he's got his hands in a bowl of ground beef that he's making into meatballs and his hands are all gooey and he doesn't want to open his phone and someone's at the door. It's a lot easier to just walk over or look up at the thermostat than to go wash your hands, open your phone, find out who's at the door. You can just glance over and see who's there. So kind of a cool option. We were also talking this morning about the fun of video doorbells and how much fun that's become. Like people are like sending messages to neighbors via video doorbell and, making like pulling pranks on each other via video doorbell, like have a clown come up to the door and ring the doorbell on your friends, things like that. Lots of like fun stuff has been going on with video doorbell for sure. This is just a comparison, Elite Pro, like some of the Elite Pro models compared to Ecobee, Nest. Ecobee, Nest, and Sensi would probably be the three big ones that we're usually competing against. They priced very competitively with them and way more feature rich. So, and then I just want to talk about this little installation. You see on the back of this thermostat, you got the indented square, and then you've got the square on just to the left of it that's got the little flap open. So that square that's got the flap open, that is our wiring universal wall plate. We call it a UWP. That is used with all of Honeywell's thermostats. So, and contractors love it because they're not. Most thermostats, you have to pull the wire. You got the thermostat hanging from the wall as you're trying to wire it on. With ours, you do all your wiring on this little square platform, and then you click your thermostat over the square platform. So if this guy has a Focus Pro and he puts it on a low end, he paid $50 for this thermostat and that's all he wanted. And then a year from now, he decides, actually, you know what? I wish I had got Wi-Fi, or I wish I had upgraded to that Elite Pro thermostat. He can just like click this one off the wall and clip a new one on the wall. Like it's very cool without having to pull the wires off the old thermostat, put the wires onto the new thermostat. A lot of guys, heating contractors, use our thermostats for this reason. They want to go into homes, put these thermostats on with this universal system, and then if they're ever there for a callback, or if there was ever an issue or a warranty problem with a thermostat, they're not rewiring anything. They're just clipping a new one on. It's a great, great system.
As a previous contractor, don't forget the importance of not having to repaint that change of space too, right? If you're going mount to mount, your chances are your paint lines and everything are going to be good still.
100%. And that's the other thing. The Elite Pro and the Focus Pro, both of those thermostats, every box comes with a wall plate. So if you pull off something that was existing that doesn't, isn't the exact same shape, you're going to cover it, no problem. So it's a optional. You can use it or not. So the broad application coverage, this is a really big deal for heating contractors because PTAC compatibility. PTACs are the units that you see when you're in a hotel room. And in the past, those units in a hotel room had their own separate, you've all seen them. They either had the flip up where you controlled the fan from the actual unit, or they had a specialty thermostat that you've never seen before in your life on the wall that was running the unit, right? Well, now contractors always wanted to use that Honeywell name with hotel heating systems, so that's available. It also will do fan coil, 2 or 4 pipe fan coil, which for those of you who don't know, that's usually condo buildings. And those fan coil thermostats can be hard to get your hands on, especially Wi-Fi ones. So that was a bit of a big deal when this came out, because a lot of guys wanted the Wi-Fi fan coil. The 2 configurable IAQ product, we talked about that. You can do 2. And because it does residential and light commercial, it really has a wide range of possibilities. The equipment interface module. So this is the module I was showing you earlier that basically, so without getting too complex and into too much, this just basically allows you to either do 3 indoor air quality functions if you have somebody that's insistent they want 3 without a separate control, or to do wireless. So if you can't get wires through the wall, like there's already drywall there and nobody wants to open up the drywall and put an extra wire, this is a way to resolve that problem. You can enable a 2-wire installation at the thermostat utilizing the RedLink wireless technology. So this Elite Pro thermostat needs a C-wire and for Wi-Fi, and it needs 4 wires plus a C-wire, so it's actually 5 wires. So if you don't have 5 wires, you only have 2 coming in, which is what I have in my bedroom. I have like zones, and my bedroom zone only has 2 wires. So I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to put an Elite Pro in there, and I'll just put a module down in my basement so it talks wirelessly to it. So it's just an option. And then you can also add wired sensors. RATs and DATs Honeywell is famous for their acronyms. It just means return air temperature sensor or discharge air temperature sensor. So it's just sensors that HVAC contractors use to prevent air conditioners freezing over, basically. So there's probably not something you guys are going to run into very often, but if you need more information on that, I'm always happy to help. And then there's more information just on the indoor air quality, easy to read dashboard. So you can see your CO levels on the left. CO levels are elevated. It'll show you, where the levels are for the CO2 and the VOCs. And radar occupancy sensing, we kind of talked about that. That's where it sort of adjusts equipment, a temperature, depending whether you're home or away, and it will override phone geofencing when a person without the app is there. So babysitters or guests or grandparents. And then it addresses hot and cold spots in the home to find the right balance to keep everyone comfortable. So it's like it knows where people are. It knows if somebody's there. There's the screen I was looking for earlier. So there's your video doorbell and it's showing up on the thermostat. And it takes the whole screen. When it comes across the thermostat, it takes up the whole screen. And I can tell you it works because I put a display in my house. I had a display board and it was an Elite Pro with a doorbell, and I put it in my kitchen and I just left it on the kitchen chair, and I ended up getting an alert, and I thought it was like my pet or something that had alerted it. And I opened up my phone and it was a picture of my husband in his underwear going to get a glass of water. So in the middle of the night, I was still up. So I was like, well, it works. It knew somebody was nearby. That's quite a cool option to have. So very quickly, because I know we're kind of gone over a bit here, the First Alert app is one of the biggest deals here, because not only will it use these work with these thermostats, the SC5 smoke and CO detectors, the Wi-Fi leak detection system, the indoor outdoor cameras, and the doorbell, but it also does some other products, garage door openers. They partnered up with Garage Door Genie. They have also partnered up with, I don't have it on here, but I thought it was on there. It's not. They've also partnered up with Slage Lock, Quick Set Locks, Leviton switches. There's a few different companies, and they have tied into them because nobody wants to have 7 apps to control things in their house, right? Like, wouldn't it be nice to just have everything in one app? You can see there on the phone, you've got your T10 smart thermostat. They've got a T9 thermostat in the office. That's actually a retail thermostat. And then they've got the L5 water shutoff. And then you can just see a little bit of the L1 leak detector below. That, if they scroll down, you see that L1 leak detector there. You could also put on the SC5. You could put on your indoor camera. You could put on Slage locks that are on a door. There's just all these different things that can go onto the one app. And I think that's what's really driving a lot of the sales that we're getting right now, is because people are just, there's too many apps and too many companies and too many places to go. And this just simplifies things. And Resideo was thinking, let's get real here. Like, people are getting frustrated. But they want it. They want the option, but they're getting frustrated. So let's get everything on one app and make it as easy as possible for them. And that's
take it a step further. I think a lot of people have given up on the one app thing. So I think this is a great opportunity to kind of revisit that.
I agree. There's the smart door locks there. I think that's it. And then the Resideo Pro Contractor app. I'm not going to go in depth into this. But the one really cool thing that's really piquing contractors' interest is that there is an app that's made for the contractor. And so what they've done is they've made it so that the contractor can set up templates for their thermostat. Because when you set up a thermostat, you got to go through and pick, your heating type, and do you have backup heat, and what type, and do you have an outdoor sensor, and what's it doing, and what do you want its parameters to be? There's all these things. So on this Resideo Pro Contractor app, they've made it so that contractors could go on there and set up templates. And it's amazing because the contractor, a lot of times the owner or the senior guy in the company is not the guy that's going to these houses. They're sending junior guys. So they can now set up a template on a phone. So when the junior guy sets up this thermostat with the heating equipment, He doesn't have to go through all the setup options. He just presses a little button on his phone and automatically all the setup options are there for him. Great savings for them. One, so that your junior guy isn't standing there with a manual for half an hour doing the setup. And two, if he makes a mistake, they're not rolling a truck out with a senior rep or an owner of the company to go fix whatever the junior guy missed. So it's a big deal, but it's very, very HVAC contractor sort of related. And then this just shows you the First Alert app, and there's, you know, how easy it is. You go on to the app, the First Alert app, new device added. It'll recognize, like it'll pick up that there's a device, and then it's so simple. You just add it and follow the instructions and follow the alerts. Branding, there is a possibility to brand the Elite Pro thermostat at a cost. Again, it's one of those subscriptions. There is a subscription to do that. But what I didn't say earlier was with the video doorbells, there is a subscription option, but there's also a free option. And the free option allows you to save videos for up to 7 days. So those 3 videos that are actually not the 3, because the last one with the gecko, that was from October. But the 2 guys from Canada that sent their March videos, they're both on a free program, and they had like the video for 7 days, so they saved it. You could save it, but you just can't keep them all without going in and saving it. So we kind of talked that. The Resideo Pro app that's what I was talking about, being, you know, putting in templates, upselling products, saving yourself time and labor costs by sending your guys in equipped with the setup tools already. And it's just more about branding. This end of the presentation is very heating contractor based. Something that's available to you if wanted, if you want more information on this, the Pro IQ Engage is almost like a low-end building automation system. So basically, a heating contractor could apply or pay $1 per year per address, and he can control the heating system from his office, basically, and the thermostat. If it's something you guys are ever interested in, reach out to me. There's a lot more to it. It would take us another hour to go through that whole program. But if it's something you're interested in, let me know, and I could send you guys all the information on that. But I think the main purpose of this training was to kind of make everybody understand that the First Alert app is now, you know, combined with security systems, you know, doorbells, cameras, leak detection, garage door openers, you know, light switches, everything. Just a really good opportunity to upsell as well for those of you who are in sales, you know, just to offer your customer peace of mind with some of these other products.
That's great. And I do have a couple of questions here. I apologize, I didn't scroll down far enough on the screen here. But does it, when you were going through the partnering with other companies, Lutron was the question. I know you mentioned Leviton and a few others. Anything with Lutron at this moment? Not
at this point. And I definitely know Lutron is not one of them right now, because I did have another contractor ask about Lutron, and it's not right now. But I did hear some, interesting from the Resideo people. So it might be something that you see come out in the near future.
Perfect. And the last question, does it work with, and then I've got a couple things I want to do, but does it work with the Honeywell Vista alarm panel?
Yes, I believe so. I'm trying to, you know what, let me just look up here very quickly. I have a sheet that shows, exactly everything that can be connected to it, and it'll tell me exactly what. Just find that sheet.
And maybe just while you're looking that up, Rebecca, I wanted to touch real quick on the VOCs that you were talking about in terms of the air quality. Because again, depending on who's listening, they may or may not understand that. When I moved into my last condo, that was something that really stood out for me. We do some air purification at Aartech that we offer, and I had one of the sensors there because I was convinced every time I went in that something was going on. I'm asthmatic, so my breathing, my nose, my headaches, I knew something was up, and I could smell a little bit of something. And my family, my girlfriend, everybody thought I was crazy. And I brought home an air sensor, and the VOCs went off consistently, and it was absolutely the off gas from the fake hardwood floor, vinyl floors, whatever they were.
Yep.
So you know what I mean? So paint, stains, varnishes you mentioned, glues, cleaning products, new furniture, even electronics, those kind of things, they all can put out at some sort of an off gas. And some of the symptoms are really common, like headaches, dizziness, eye, nose, and throat irritation, even fatigue. Like you wouldn't necessarily know that these things are happening. And really, and it really does. Most newer homes, as you said, certainly newer homes have this stuff already, the technology to clean this. So it really is making a better use of your existing investment too, I think.
Sure. And like I said earlier, like it's running, like who wants to run the fan if you don't need to? Like who needs that extra cost of the power, right? No, but we all want it running if it's going to be like giving us gross air. Like we want, so it's really nice that there's that option now. It's not just like, oh, well, we'll just willy-nilly run this thing whenever we think we should, right? It's actually running when it should be.
And for the record, that condo had a fan running flat out all the time. Like I could hear it just sitting on the couch. So yeah, they were doing their best. But and the other thing I wanted to touch on real quickly, you were talking about the branding opportunities in terms of the app and things. For those of you that don't know, Aartech does hardware branding. So we can potentially, set up an opportunity with your artwork to put your company logo on, maybe even your customer if you're talking to a property management in a condominium or something. So we can do the hardware branding in terms of laser engraving and color ultraviolet printing. So keep that in mind as well. Thermostats is one of the biggest ones that we like to put that branding on for you.
I'm going to keep that in mind too, Jeff, because the Elite Pro does not have that labeling on the outside anymore. And I know there are guys that like that. And so when I was talking to Robert, I said, well, Robert, I said, everybody that wants branding on the Elite Pro, I'm sending them to Aartech. So yeah, so that, and I don't know if you can see, I just shared a screen.
Can, yes.
Okay, so that is off my dashboard from the Elite Pro, or sorry, the First Alert app. And I screenshotted the 3 pages of all the different devices you can add. So you can see, I'm not great with security, but you can see there's a Total Connect 2.0. Where else is there? Oh, maybe that's it. Total Connect 2.0. That might be it.
And I can confirm that for you, Mike.
Yeah, so here has everything listed. There are, I just want to mention, there some of these older thermostats, a lot of people are like, oh, I got to have an Elite Pro to get on this First Alert app. No, the T9, the T10, the T10 Plus, which are still out there. There's still some out there. They're going to be going away, but they're still out there. The T5 and T6 thermostats are still kicking around. So those can all be added. And also your Focus Pro. All the Focus Pro thermostats can be added as well. The lower end one, there it is right there. So they can be added as well. So lots of different options, as you can see. This is a sheet I made. I actually printed this sheet off from the app, from my phone, because I had so many guys asking about all the different things. And I was like, well, here it is all on one page. And so I take this cheat sheet around with me everywhere I go. And whenever they ask me, what all can I connect? I just show them the sheet. So you can see there's a lot of options. That's a lot for one app. And I guarantee you're going to see more being added in the next little while. Like they're out collaborating with other companies.
You guys want to talk with them and play with others as opposed to some of the proprietary systems that are out there.
Right. Yeah, for
Perfect.
sure.
Excellent. Well, we did take a little bit longer than we expected, and it looks like almost everybody stayed on. So thank you very much for that. It says a lot to the presenter and the content. So thank you, Rebecca. I just shared in the chat our starting point library on the website. For those of you that are a little bit less familiar with us, this is a custom built section of our website for brands like Resideo that we very much trust and support. Resideo's page is being updated right now, so it's not there yet, but it will be there within a few days. But the starting point library is exactly that. If you're new to something, if a customer asks you for something that's pushing your confidence, go to the starting point library. We have it divided by category for access control, alarms, things like that, but also by the individual brands. If a brand's on that page, the utmost trust is there, the partnership is there. Anyways, definitely take a look at the starting point library. Reach out to your account manager for any questions that maybe weren't answered here or that come out of this session. If you're not a partner with Aartech, on the website, you can click on become a dealer and we can get you set up. There's no commitment, there's no credit check, it's just a partnership. So with that in mind, thank you very much, Rebecca. I very much appreciate all your support as always. I challenge our customers, any questions that you have outside of this, let us know. We'll, if we can't answer internally, we'll reach out to Rebecca, always looking to expand our knowledge. Glad to be back doing a live webinar. It's been a little while, as I mentioned. So thanks everybody for joining. Thank you, Rebecca, for all your support, and look forward to growing together even further.
Thank you so much. And please reach out if there's anything I can help you guys with. I am absolutely here to support you. Answer no question is dumb. Call me anytime.
Perfect. And take a look for our podcast. It's not up yet. We literally just did it this morning, Rebecca and I, but take a look for the podcast. I think it went really well. It'll be up on the YouTube page and will be pushed out through our newsletter soon. So thank you, everybody. Have a great afternoon. And thanks again.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.